Hi, my name is Kimberly Cawi, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas pudding called Plum Pudding from my cookbook, Exceptional Comfort, The Recipes, Volume 1. This is one of my favorite heritage recipes because I grew up making plum pudding at Christmas time with my family, and I ended up making my own version that I'm going to hand down to my son, and I'm going to show you today. You can also make your own version. Once you know the technique of making the pudding, you can make your own special recipe for you and your family. Let's get started. Okay, now I want to show you the fruit that I'm going to put in the pudding this year. I have right here a pound of cranberries, dried cranberries, 20 ounces of currants, 43 ounces of raisins, a pound of chopped and pitted dates, 1 pound worth, and also 1/2 pound of chopped orange peel and lemon peel. Here I have 1 ounce of candied crystallized ginger here, and right here we have our 2 cups of a good quality brandy to soak the fruit in. Okay, here comes the fun part. We start mixing our fruit. Just dump everything into the mixing bowl all at once. Nothing hard about it. You just dump everything in here. That's why you need a very large bowl for everything to fit. Here come the currants. I have 2 10-ounce bags of currants here. And here come our ginger pieces. And last but not least, we are going to add the orange peel and the lemon peel, which I cut up earlier. And then you're going to pour 2 cups of brandy over the fruit and then mix it up. Now, you could use a spoon or you could use your hands. I recommend using your hands because the spoon might fling. There's so much fruit here, I think it would like kind of start flying out of the bowl. Once this is all mixed, we're going to cover this and store it in the refrigerator overnight. You will occasionally go back in the fridge and bring it out to give it a stir a couple times, just to redistribute the brandy that's at the bottom of the bowl, so it gets an even distribution with the fruit. And so then tomorrow it will be ready to mix the rest of the ingredients in the pudding, and then we can steam it. Here are the ingredients we're going to add to our fruit. We have 2 cups of flour, 4 eggs, 1 cup of breadcrumbs. We have 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. We also have 1 teaspoon of salt and 4 ounces of lingonberry jam. Here is some butter, which I've grated actually, and I use 1 pound of goat butter. You can use regular cow butter if you like, but I like to use goat butter. I'm going to show you how you can grate your butter. It needs to be cold, so I need to get mine out of the refrigerator. actually had it frozen, and I just had it thaw just long enough to be able to get the wrapper off of it. And I kept it in the refrigerator until I needed to use it. So you take a regular grater. I use the large hold grater. This one has a little container on the bottom that will catch what I grate. And you just, as quickly as you can, because you don't want your butter to melt while you're doing this, otherwise it's harder to grate. And you just grate like you're grating potatoes, and it will make the butter easier to work with. You would just add it to our pudding and it mixes right in with your hands very easily. I know you probably never thought in your life you would ever be doing something so silly as grating butter, but years ago they called for suet in plum pudding, which they would grate. And I don't use the suet now. I use butter, but I still find that grating it actually helps incorporate the butter into the pudding very easily. So be careful at the end so you don't get your fingers caught. And this last little bit you can throw in the pot here. And you just take it off. We will dump the butter in. It's a little sticky, but that's okay. Try not to smash it. You want that airy-fairy effect of the grating to remain. Otherwise you'll be back with a clump of butter. So it's very, very light. Looks like almost riced potatoes or something here. So just pull this out of the grater inside, and you got all of it. And that should do it. Alright, now we are ready to mix the rest of the ingredients. Here I have the 2 cups of flour and the spices whisked together in a large bowl. And now I'm going to add all the butter and work that in with your fingers. And it's going to be much better than using any other utensil that you could possibly find. It seems like a lot of butter, but you have to remember we have a lot of fruit, and this is going to make an enormous amount of dough for our puddings. And it's a dense pudding. It's not a light and airy-fairy cake by any means. So after you get this incorporated into a gravelly texture or pea-size little pieces and all incorporated, I'm adding the breadcrumbs. It's 1 cup of breadcrumbs and the salt, and mixing that. It's 1 teaspoon of salt, and mix that in with your hands. Then we're going to add this mixture to the fruit. Now we are back with an even larger bowl here, which I will fill with the breadcrumbs mixture and the spiced flour. And we add our fruit right on top. Get every little bit of that delicious fruit. Now we incorporate the fruit with the dried mixture with the butter. The breadcrumbs actually just kind of disappear into the dough. That finished product, you don't notice any like pieces of bread actually. I think it almost seems like just more flour actually. And you can't really tell that there was any bread in there at all. Now I am going to add the eggs. We're going to take a little whisk and lightly beat them before we add them. And then I will mix them again very well with my hands. Okay. And we just pour them on top. Almost like making a meatloaf. But they did used to make this with suet, which is a meat product. And years ago, in the medieval times, in England, it was a way of preserving some of their meat. And lots of neat traditions kind of start with plum pudding. And there's the tradition of everybody in the household will get a chance to stir the pudding and make a wish. That's kind of like the one I grew up with. It was so fun to actually watch. This was my favorite part in the pudding preparation, because you could really see things coming together. So I am working very hard here to incorporate your eggs, because that helps hold the whole pudding together. And just like a cake, it will help hold things together. There is no leavening though in this in this mixture. There's nothing leavening about plum pudding. In fact, my husband likes to say it makes a good doorstop. So, anyway, there's nothing that tastes quite like plum pudding either at Christmas time. Right now I'm going to add 4 ounces of lingonberry jam. You can use any kind of a red berry jam of your favorite kind. I like lingonberries because it's an unusual type of treat for us. It's a Scandinavian jam that I order from Scandinavian stores. When we were kids, we used to use a red currant jelly. And you just incorporate this very, very lightly. So, to the fruit, basically I added 2 cups of flour, my spice mixture, the 1 pound of goat butter, 1 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon salt, 4 eggs, and 4 ounces of lingonberry jam.